Alright, we are back, and I've made sure that we can actually be heard this time, which was only a momentary problem, but still helpful with the whole casting thing to actually have sound. Maybe that's just me, but
I think it's just you.
it's probably just me. Probably all sorts of people out there are just like, stop talking, please.
Yes, control the camera, and I'm alright.
And I can't blame them. Unbelievable. Not even trolling. Eat for 1 hour.
That's like, it's a joke though that you can pause for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's fine if, 30 minutes is way too long actually in any situations. Even if you gotta disconnect or something, if you can't solve it in 30 minutes or in 20 minutes, you're probably not gonna solve it in 30 minutes. It's just, especially when you get these kind of games, for example, versus or in the free versus free tournament, for example, which I've been attending a few times. There are those kind of teams that are like sitting on not to be talking or not to be rude or to be cocky or anything, but like the kind of games that are more or less a free win when you're playing versus or players that are well a lot lower skilled, and they're like, guys, I need to eat, so we're gonna pause for 30 minutes. And then you're just like, what? You're gonna seriously pause 50 or for 30 minutes? You know that this game is gonna be over in like 50 minutes, and then you talk to the admin like, is there anything we can do? But no, we have to sit there and wait for 30 minutes because someone is just making a fool out of us.
Can you not unpause?
We're not allowed to by the admins. You have the rights to pause for 30 minutes in any game, even in a free versus free, which is plain stupid.
Yeah. Whoever continues to argue will get a warning. So, Inklin's showing up here doing some adminning, and the other part of that doesn't make a lot of sense is you only get 3 pauses. So even if they're like 10-second pauses or minute-long pauses or whatever, get somebody to disconnect or reconnect, you can only do that at a maximum of 6 times per game. So yeah, it'd make a lot more sense to have shorter max length and more of them. And I mean, it might still allow you to pause for half an hour, but it would solve some issues with running out of pauses occasionally. It's kind of silly. Anyway, there's a game that they're busting through while we're talking about this. First stage of bans were Parasites and Cthulhuphant and Tempest and Swiftblade. So no huge surprise, Hellborn taking out the Cthulhuphant and Swifty combo. Legion side looking to ban out some junglers and pick up the Ophelia, who's the only one left. Into the Magnus Rhapsody, Kraken, Glacius, and Keep of the Forest going through on the Hellborn side. So strong team fight for both of them, and a little bit more gank potential for the Legion team. That's not bad lineups overall.
I really like the Hellborn lineup actually so far. Keeper of the Forest can be a little bit risky to pick up too early in the first 3 picks. Dawn has been doing it quite a bit though, because they have a very, or at least they had, a very good keeper player. And they like to play it very defensive with Probosk on some hard carry like Malikan, but you're still gonna have a very defensive lineup. He's the kind of hero that is, well, really useless before his level 6, so... and with an Ophelia on the Legion side, this kind of opens up for an aggressive pseudo tri-lane.
Yeah. Inklin's leaving, man. There's a lot of alt chat here in this. Apparently, the issues... We saw some issues in Game 1 between these two teams. Perhaps people are not super happy about the situation, but seems to have continued now. Sorry, I completely forgot what you were talking about, but...
Keeper, risky to pick it up when the enemy team has an Ophelia, for example.
Right, that's true. And obviously Ophelia much more aggressive early on, and Keeper of the Forest is just like, please leave me alone. I just want to farm my lovely...
Yeah, and also when you pick it like this, the risk of the Legion team picking a hero like Soul Stealer, for example, or Dr. Repulsor. Actually, Doctor is banned, but actually Legion side is the one that banned Doctor. Interesting. But something like a Soul Stealer, for example, which just completely wrecks Keeper of the Forest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they can win 3 lanes if they draft this smart.
Speaking of that second stage bans, it is Dr. Repulsor, Wretched Hag, and Warbeast from the Legion side, so some more late game potential being taken out by the Hellborn team as well as by the Legion team as well as the Hellborn team. Silhouette, Oogie, and Clanks are removed, trying to focus Marcus My Heroes, looks like. Also apparently they've got Masatoshi back in game 3.
Oh.
And they've lost Nox 3. He was the guy that played Parasite last game.
Oh.
Boy, this this Hot Fluff Factory roster is really
swapping them a lot, so I guess it's been some delays, and that's kind of what they are arguing about, I guess.
Maybe. I feel like that's an issue for teams, and not only in the whole, we don't have people showing up at the right time, or we're gonna have to forfeit matches or stuff like that, but just it's hard to get on the same page when you're constantly playing with different people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something completely different. At least if you've played together for a long time, for example. I mean, getting a new Suicide player for your team, for example, that we were doing in Prime Icarus,
right.
1 cycle ago. It's just, you need to practice a lot. You need to get a new player into your playstyle. You need to recognize what kind of drafts that you're doing, how you're playing it out, all this kind of stuff. And just when you constantly run around with ringers, it's not only destroying the atmosphere in a sense, but also you don't know what to expect from your ringer. Like, you don't know what kind of things that he's gonna do, more or less.
It's harder to play in your drafts. I don't know what you play well. I don't know what you play poorly. It's harder to say, okay, you are the carry because what if we want to run this lineup and this guy can't play that, so we have to switch this role to that role, and then some people are uncomfortable as to what role they're playing or what hero they're playing or whatever. It just creates a lot of problems, and that's why, I mean, to be frank, I think that's why we don't see a lot of huge switch-ups on the top teams. I mean, Willowkeeper hasn't changed their lineup all season, Sync hasn't changed their lineup all season. We see BMG and Reason making changes, and they've both gone to gold this cycle. And
last cycle, yeah. Or Reason went last cycle.
Last cycle.
They're playing tomorrow.
Yes. So it's not necessarily the fault of those roster changes, but definitely you can see the connection between having.
Yeah, that's actually a good example on recent gaming. When they switched up 3 players, first cycle they dropped, and now they are, I would rate them as the number 3 team.
Yeah.
Most likely. So
definitely appear to have gotten substantially better. Although you guys probably should have won that series.
I tend to agree, but in the end, can't take anything away from Reason.
I mean, they're a very difficult team to beat. The fact that you took 1 game off of them is probably, and were as competitive in that series as you were, should be considered a pretty positive sign in my eyes. But regardless, they're going to pick Berserker. Alrighty then. I like it, actually, here.
I dislike it, but yeah. I feel like you're up against a keeper. No, wait, you're not up against a keeper. Never mind. Okay, maybe I don't dislike it as much anymore. Keeper's gonna be in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Surprising. And very, very odd, in my opinion. If you were on a keeper in the forest, you want him to be able to push early on. That's like the idea. You need to combine him with something pushes, like a Polywog Priest, Defiler, Soul Reaper, I don't know, something like that. Otherwise there's absolutely no point at all having him in the forest. Soul Stealer... Okay.
Once again, the AoE ultimates.
Yeah. I just feel like, I mean, these teams, they don't really count for what's, like, they need level 6 once again. Like, they need core items once again on every single hero in their team except for the Glacius. More or less, and just there's just nothing they can do if, like, the lead team mans up once again, pseudo tri-lane, which was what wait, what are they called now? HpF?
Hot Fluff Factory, yeah.
Okay, Hot Fluff Factory. They did this towards Coollo in the first round, or in the first game, and they stomped them more or less when they had the Soul Stealer. And now they got a Soul Stealer, and they got pretty much the exact same stuff. I think it's the exact fucking same lineup. More or less, except that you swap out the Glacius for a Rhapsody and the Keeper for a Tempest, but it's the same idea. I mean, they had the Pharaoh Suicide and the Kraken mid, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So this is the exact same thing that they completely wrecked Coollo with, and now they are like confident in drafting it up for themselves. Makes no sense to me, but okay.
That's a little bit weird. And I think I'd be more okay with it if I felt like these lineups were synergized really well. Kraken, Soul Stealer, and Pharaoh, I think, have a nice combination. Glacius and Keeper could be solid. But they sort of have a different concentration where Pharaoh has some teamfight ability, but he's concentrated in a small area. So is Kraken, and really so is Soul Stealer to some extent, because the outer edges of his Soul Burst really don't do all that much damage. And then you compare that to Keeper the Forest and Glacius, who have much larger ultimates. And do they want to take big, fat, spread out team fights? Do they want to take very small, concentrated team fights? Can they get that sort of thing? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Feel free to disregard that. They are trying to do this whole thing with feeding Soul Stealer early kills, and it's not working. So
I don't know why they're trying to do that. Oh, they're trying to get the souls. Okay,
yeah.
that's smart in a way, I guess. Why can't they just walk it out and deny it?
They can, and then they did not.
But they failed. Nice. So now they don't only get to, or no, Pharaoh doesn't get his lane pulled either. That's nice.
Yep.
Wait, are they running an offensive dual lane? No, they're not.
Okay, I really hope not.
I don't know. Glacius is just way too late, and he's not going to be able to outbox Mad, because at the time he reaches the top lane, Magnus is already going to be level 2 at least, and by that time it's already too late.
And that's the most crucial time too for Soul Stealer. His early laning phase is when he's the most vulnerable. He does not have souls, and I was going for level 1 Steam Bath.
Yeah, I think he should have waited with it until he's actually saw the support, or what's the point of jumping down? It's a smart idea, obviously, but it didn't make any sense to do it just like that.
That was weird.
That was really weird. Now he doesn't have it for, well, 10 seconds, so if he gets ganked right now, if Tempest would have, or I mean, if Keeper would have been up here as well, he would have been probably dead.
And we're going to come
Maybe
with
not,
Glacius.
but
Freeze goes through. Oh, this is Soul Stealer, no Demon Hands yet because he's level 1, but Mag was hitting level 2, so he'll have access to the Lava Surge, and have planted some autos on this Glacius, but the Steam Bath is sort of allowing Soul Stealer to do whatever he wants, and that early laning phase issue is going to go away very quickly as he's getting a lot of these last hits. Bottom lane, though, meantime, looks like Pharaoh not going to be in too much trouble. That's went on to him for a little bit, but Pharaoh up against Rhapsody and Berserker, and Pharaoh hates playing against Rhapsody for very good reason. It's like, I'm going to trap myself into one small area where I have difficulty moving against a hero that loves it when I don't move. It's not a great thing.
I'm not sure why people pick up the Rhapsody if they're not planning on going dual mid though. It works as a babysitter, but wouldn't recommend it. I'd rather want something that's a little bit stronger.
I actually very much like the Rhapsody as babysitter, and I think Pharaoh's dead. No, they sort of did not do that all that well. I feel like they could have gotten more auto attacks in between the stuns. The Chain Spike didn't have to be pulled as early as it was.
I think so too. Kind of stacked the stuns a bit, unfortunate.
They'll force Pharaoh out of the lane, and he's actually out of regen, so he's going to go buy a health potion, use it, and come back to the lane. And assuming he gets a bottle, that will delay his bottle pretty substantially. Berserker, though, obviously the hero that we rarely see, and Breaky's favorite hero, so always worth giving a shout out. But my issues with Berserker tend to be that he does so much damage, he just has issues locking people down, because the Chain Spike really isn't enough, and so he has high chase potential, but if you have good kiting heroes, you can basically just run away from him forever. And he also
and he
does
farms very slow.
Yeah, that's the problem. He also does take a fair bit of damage. But if you look at the lineup around him, he's got an Ophelia and a Rhapsody to back him up. His slow farming speed isn't going to be that big a deal because the excess farm should be absorbed by the rest of the Legion's heroes, who are all solid farmers themselves. And he's also got lockdown from Ophelia, Bubbles, Rhapsody, and that's going to be very helpful as Pharaoh's definitely dead. So that's going to be Bloodlust. Going to Archtiger.
Yeah, once again, it didn't matter because he was already dead, but the Berserker using his stun way prematurely. Like, while the Staccato is still in effect.
Right. Nope, middle lane, Catlamaine's dead again.
Again? You're just like,
no.
last game.
Yeah, I mean, well, last game, the game before that.
You're just getting used, yeah.
I'm getting used to Cat Main being dead. Yeah, is basically where I'm going with that.
Yeah. I feel you.
Anyway, both Rhapsody and Berserker are actually now out of mana a little bit, but Pharaoh's still playing pretty far back, and he could get a little more aggressive here. I think they can't kill him.
No, he should be fine since he don't have the mana. Yeah, like you said. But I feel like Rhapsody should be moving around a lot more. Like just be in the shadows, man. Like you don't necessarily need to stand beside Berserker when he's last sitting. You don't need experience. You only got you already got level 3, which is all you need. For now at least. So I mean, cover the bot room, for example. I mean, Kraken got it now instead, and that's like, even if it was a refreshment rune, I mean, it could have been a haste or something, and that can guarantee you a kill. So yeah.
Of course, Kraken back middle. You could even run top, where Soul Splitter does not have a ton of escape mechanisms, and if Glacius is off pulling like he is, then might get him caught out or kill a level 2 Glacius.
Oh. Wow, Bubbles just using Shell Surf in the mid, while downhill as well. I think Kraken could have just killed him if he actually manned up for it, but showed a little bit of hesitation. He didn't.
And Pink having a much better game than he did last time. 325 GPM.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, they drafted Kraken to him again. Yep. Didn't take that into consideration, but okay. Yep. He's got a lot to show for.
Well, he's winning his lane. Bubbles 250 GPM, Pink 325, so not a bad performance overall. He's actually hit 6 substantially before Bubbles has.
I'm not sure how that happened. Bubbles was leading early game and felt like he was doing really well, so I'm not sure how Kraken came back. It should have been the other way around. The Kraken is doing well in the early levels and then Bubbles kind of boxes him out. So I'm not sure if Bubbles went for a failed gank attempt or something, but something happened at least. And once again, I mean, where's Rhapsody? Why is he not here?
Kraken's just gonna sit on the rune here, and we'll pick it up. It is just a refreshment, so not all that much. Top lane, meantime, though, Magmus and Glacius going at it, and Glacius gets an invis, so we'll just walk that off.
And Pharaoh dead.
Assuming they find him, yes.
What's he doing?
Go down. He's trying to get the port out, and Rhapsody, he walks into the walls twice.
Why didn't he just dance for?
Yeah. It gives vision, yo. Anyway, middle lane, they'll put the release of Kraken and the Glacial freeze, but Bubbles just like, bye, I've got Shell Surf, that doesn't stun me. Not sure why it didn't stun him, but misplaced Kraken ulti, I guess, and then he wasn't able to get pulled back into it because of the freeze. So I think Glacius might have saved Bubbles' life right there. How considerate of him.
Yeah, nice. If that's the case. So, Keeper 300 GPM, Sorcerer 350 GPM, and Kraken 320 GPM. Like, this is going really well for the Album team.
And Cat Main at 76, so they're really shutting down this Magmus very well, too.
He got level 5 at least, so he should try to roam around instead of being
He just got level 5 too. Anyway, Kraken in the middle lane is going to be locked down by a couple of heroes. Very, very nice staggering of stuns by the Ophelia and a humiliation. Okay. Kraken putting taunts down.
Teasing around with taunt a little bit.
Oops.
And okay, nice. The fact that they're actually deciding to go for the push here.
Yeah. Ophelia's still level 6, so no access to 3 minions quite yet, but this is pretty rapid tower kill happening. And it looks like it's going to go down. The question is, will it be denied?
They should definitely back off. That was poorly done though by Kraken porting in like that. They should have waited, because I'm pretty sure that they could have potentially gotten a kill out of it. Or I mean, it was poorly done by Keeper as well, because he was running in with the trees. Instead he could have just gone invis, and he could have like gone root plus the Kraken TP. Like they would have had 1 kill at least.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, or poorly played by Hellborn.
No
and bottom, by the way.
But Glacius was there to assist, and Pharaoh is
Berserker
now behind.
Not paying attention though.
The Rhapsody. It's not gonna matter.
That was a kill though, but Berserker was farming while Rhapsody was going up. Not sure whose fault it was. Communication issues at least.
Top lane, Magmus having to stun away to take 2 Demon Hands in quick succession. A whole bunch of damage there. Cat Main still having a very awful time in this top lane.
He shouldn't be at the top lane unless the tower is getting pushed.
Yeah.
You should just be hiding, because then you have to go back in the mid as well as Kraken.
And hey, I mean, you could even actually gank.
Yep.
Level 5
There's no
Magnus
vision whatsoever from the Hellborn team right now, so shutting down this Kraken should be their top priority right now, because as long as he doesn't get a pull key, I don't really see them winning any fights.
A little bit better
possibly,
this time,
maybe,
I think, with the Pharaoh and the Keeper. It's not like they're fully reliant on the Kraken for initiation. They obviously, without a pull key, Kraken is really not much of a hero.
Well, it's going to be hard to initiate with Pharaoh, I feel, because they have the Bubbles and the Magnus, who's most likely going to be the ones in front, and you can't really initiate with the Pharaoh on those heroes, but yeah, at least they're not as helpless as last game. Pharaoh still doesn't have marches, by the way. He's got 300 gold.
Yeah, so Catlamane getting shut down in the top lane, but it looks like Playmaker in the bottom lane, not Pharaoh getting shut down as well.
That's kind of why I like to start with the Marchers as a suicide hero, because no matter how freaking bad it goes for you, you're always gonna have those Marchers.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
I'm taking Tri-Stack.
I'm kind of surprised it took them this long to do it, but they're doing it, and they're not even using Soul Stealer for it, so this will be some much needed farm for Pharaoh or Keeper. No, Pharaoh's not even here. What am I talking about? Pharaoh's in the middle lane. Keeper and the Kraken are taking it. I feel like they should give this to somebody more valuable than either of those two heroes.
I think it's fine. I mean, Soul Stealer doesn't really need to waste time, or not. It wouldn't be a waste of time, obviously, but I mean, Kraken pull key is prioritizing for like the prayer right now, so I think it's alright. Wow, did you see that ultimate?
Yeah, I did. I'm a little behind you, but apparently. But anyway, they're gonna get a 2-man Kelfield off of that, and Kraken to break it immediately, but it looks like Pharaoh made a lot of trouble as he's gonna die, no question. Kraken looking for an ultimate, and nice 3-man root. Release Kraken onto 2 more. Raps is sort of walking into it, still level 5, no ultimate available. Bubbles is gonna be able to get out of there, it looks like, and they're gonna get the counter kill onto the Keeper of the Forest. Berserker's in the middle of this fight, Solsto trying to come up and clean up, but he's not gonna be able to do enough damage, so really nice initiation from the Hellborn team. They got their spells onto a bunch of heroes, and then they didn't have any damage.
Not sure if you mean the Pharaoh ultimate.
No, I mean
initiation, but
I meant let's disregard everything that happened with Pharaoh and consider the team fight happening when Keeper of the Forest pressed R. That was a solid ult, and then the Kraken ultimate was good, and then they didn't have any damage.
I feel like you should, as soon as your initiation normally fails, you should just try to go back though. Kraken kind of charged in anyway and got caught in the Kelfield along with Pharaoh. And I think Pharaoh would have been fine if they decided to go back and instead they just went jolly mode and wanted to fight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least Kraken is doing really good still, even though he died in that... Or no, never mind, he didn't die. Okay. But yeah, try to get Astro at least before trying to seek those fights.
And they're working on it. If you get a lobby after this, leave it and let it forfeit. Okay.
Yeah, you're disqualified.
Interesting. This is game 3, so I would hope they don't get a lobby after this.
Legion team really need to work on the coordination. These ganks, they feel so forced every single time. Like here in the mid, for example, I don't know if they're gonna succeed actually. They shouldn't know exactly.
Kraken charging away. Silence is a little bit late. Actually, some body blocks nicely done from Bubbles, and they will be able to stop the regeneration room, but Magma's missing the Lava Surge. Kraken enough tankiness to be able to walk this off. But there's an here down there in the bottom lane. But there's not, and Kraken is just fine.
So a lot of waste time once again, and I feel like they do this over and over. Ganking is something that should come naturally, more or less. Obviously you need to make a decision and communicate about it, but it still shouldn't be forced in any way, like they're doing, like standing mid and waiting for something to happen. That's not how you want it to be.
He pushes in 2 lanes as the top lane tier 2 tower being taken out by Hellborn, and the bottom tier 1 tower being taken out by the entire Legion team. So it's Berserker actually popping his Elder Parasite, helping doing a lot of damage. And able to kill it as fast as they Hellborn do. So it's being a tower trade of 1 for 1, both teams losing long lane towers, and Hellborn going to keep going. It's going to force supports back from the Legion team.
I wouldn't be comfortable trading towers if I were Legion at this point. Because even though if they have the Berserker, I feel like the Hellborn team got late game with that Keeper Kraken combo.
Yeah. All of whom are farming fairly well here. Pink on the Kraken must have his portal key right now. I assume it's being delivered to him. Yes, it is. 370 GPM. There's no way he's sitting on 0 gold Steam Boots, Power Supply, and Bottle, and this is also got a portal key.
I'm surprised that Sociator is only level 10. He got 500 plus GPM. I feel like he should be 11 for some reason, but maybe he hasn't taken too much part in those team fights.
We'll clean up
or in that
agents.
one team fight that happened. Yeah. Okay, he hits level 11 at least. And he got a portal key if he chooses to go so, but I don't think he should. There's too much stuff they can actually cancel. Yeah, I think Shrunken would be better. Actually, I don't like the Nullstone at all.
Yeah.
Don't really see the point. There is the Berserker Chain Spike, I guess, but is that physical?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a targeted spell. It'll get cancelled. I think it is physical, so it actually go. It might go through Shrunken, so maybe that's why he got it. But
yeah,
regardless, you got Skeleton Kings, so you're gonna have something that's gonna go through Shrunken Head, and it's going to be not enough. Anyway, they do manage to get the Magnus away. He tried to channel his ultimate, that did not work, as they managed to kill the Pharaoh eventually. Keeper of the Forest Root locking a lot of people down. Rhapsody going to save a ton of damage. They're going to try to burst her down, but no stuns can stop her. She is eventually going to fall, but not before essentially, you know, more or less winning this team fight for the Hellborn team, as they manage to take out Catwoman on the Magnus in a 2-for-1 exchange. It is so far in their favor. They're going to try to lock down Mega on the Bubbles. He's dead. Ophelia going to fall as well, and in the background, Marcus White's Berserker is definitely going to die. Will he get any counter kills? No, he won't. And that's a genocide.
That's a genocide, yeah. That was kind of awkward start. Pharaoh ultimated Berserker and then after that tried to run away. Magnus channeled ultimate, but he kind of hesitated and regretted the decision and just stunned instead. So he lost all the mana, doing pretty much nothing in that fight.
So, sad times for Legion, and Swiftlane with 600 GPM is starting to become a bit of an issue. And he did in fact go the portal key route. He's still got 1900 gold saved up though after that fight as a result of his 3-0-2 score. I'm feeling nervous if I'm Coollo here.
I would be really nervous. Sure, you can still get around, but seeing as they don't necessarily have any initiation tools whatsoever on their team, I would feel really uncomfortable if I were in their position right now.
They got bubbles.
Yeah, but you know, he can't really jump in. If he jumps in, there's no one to follow up on him. Sure, others can run in, but that takes too long in the normal cases at least. But what the fuck?
That's just terrible. That is unbelievably awful.
Oh my god, they threw away their only initiation on a fucking light brand, on a bubbles. It would have been alright if you had maybe 500 GPM and it didn't necessarily have a hard carry, but they have a fucking Berserker in their team, and he's 300 GPM in a game that they are so far behind in, and he goes for a light brand.
It'd be more acceptable if they had a portal key on Magnus by now, but Magnus isn't even close to his PK. Well, he's halfway there, but he's still not looking great. He's
not looking good at all, actually.
That is 6 different kinds of awful.
More or less. I mean, if I were seeing this right now, if I were Hellborn, I would farm that BKB on Soulstealer and then I would just straight up go. Or I would just do Kongor straight away. That's probably what I would do right now. Kongor, because there's no way in hell they can stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that use this shell as well?
He's in some trouble now. Yep, they're gonna spot him out with the rocket. And they're not even going to use the Wrath of the Pharaoh. They've got enough vision from that. They try to use the cover, and Bubbles is dead. Boy, Portal Key would have been super helpful in that situation.
Yep.
Just saying.
I have no words for that. It's just, if I were the captain for
that's kick-worthy.
Coollo right now, and he were, yeah, exactly. Like, I would have been so furious.
That's like, get the hell off of my team right now. That's...
There's no way they would be able to stop a Congo attempt right now if HoN team were to go for it, which I'm not sure why they are not. They have a Pharaoh and a Keeper in their team. And associated with BKB now, so maybe that's what they're waiting for. Hopefully that's what they're waiting for. They should have spotted out the ward now as well, by the way.
Yeah, they should have. And they did. Did the Rocket see it?
Did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Pharaoh definitely knows it's there. Yeah, there we go. Old Name June is bottled by the Kraken, so yeah, my suspicion is, yeah, there goes Shrunken on Soul Stealer. Actually, they're trying to initiate onto the Rhapsody, but they don't catch her with the Wrath of the Pharaoh, so very close to it. Doesn't find it. Actually drops some Mummy Walls too, because I think he thought he caught the Rhapsody, but he didn't. And I'm expecting DD Rune to Soul Stealer. Kongor dead in about 4 seconds.
No. They're like, no, fuck this. We're gonna go and do something else.
That's what makes sense.
Went full key on Keeper, which is alright, but okay.
They're gonna spot this out pretty easily. Kraken, a beautiful PK away from Bubbles and his Kelfield. Here goes the Kraken, or the Keeper Force Portal Key with the root on to 3. Bubbles dead right off the bat. Release Kraken also catches Berserker, but he gets boarded back by Ophelia, who's gonna try to walk this off, and I don't know if they have the catch potential for it. Background Pharaoh trying to cut off the Ophelia, but obviously no ultimate as he used it before. Torrent goes through. That's gonna slow him down a little bit, and Ophelia could still be dead here. Looking for the skeletons to slow some people down with the stuns. It's gonna be the Pharaoh that she chooses to use that on first, and Ophelia gonna be able to just walk this off, get back into the base, and should be just fine. But so
that was a long chase.
Yeah, and a fair number of ultimates used considering they only got the Bubbles kill, but nice board back from Ophelia on the Berserker. Just enough speed to get out of it.
Really dislike the Ghost Marches on Rhapsody as well. Not sure why. He felt the need to get those kind of items, especially when he's so far behind.
Well, 183 GPM is not the worst.
No, but I'm more like his team is really far behind, and they could really need someone to pick up a tablet, for example.
And or like put wards anywhere. Right now we have one in middle.
Or a Bound Eye or something like that as well. But Ghost Marchers, I've picked it up at times when I get like a first blood or something, and I get really good farm, because then Rhapsody is actually really strong. With early levels she can do a lot, but seeing as she is lowest level in the game, no, my Grace is actually lower, but she's, well, he's not gonna do too much at least with those Ghost Marchers. That's what I'm saying. Here she goes, Ghost Marchers activated.
And gonna get the haste rune stolen from her as she gets locked down by the Mummy Walls. I'm just gonna try to walk us out, and actually she might be able to get away. Magma's ultimate really not doing anything as the Shrunken Head is up from Soul Stealer. He's trying to kill some people, but also the Legion side very effective at running away. Soulburst does go through. Magma's in a lot of trouble. He should fall. Glacier's trying to leave him out. They finally will be able to kill Catlow Main, but the background that gets Swift Lane on the Soul Stealer. Glacier's ultimate doing a fair bit of damage as well. Everybody locked down, but a beautiful Rhapsody ultimate, and she survived the initial engagement. Comes back, and there you go. Ghost Marcher is doing a lot of work for her. They managed to kill Masatoshi on the Keeper of the Forest, as well as Stupid Stew on the Glacius. Archtiger eventually does fall, so not the worst fight for Legion. They take 3, lose 2, but
I'm not sure how the Rhapsody actually survived that fight. I feel like it's just so similar. Yeah, no, but those were actually down during that time. She used that to get to the room, but I feel like Soulstealer misplayed that quite a bit.
But yeah, not being able to finish off the Rhapsody right there actually ended up being pretty huge, because her ultimate probably prevented the Legion team from losing 4 or more. And
Soulstealer was next. Soulstealer was literally next to Pharaoh when he ultimated. Like, he could have just attacked him a few times, but he was like, no, I'm not gonna go in there because her entire team is behind. But then he activated BKB and was like, okay, no, I'm gonna go instead. But then it was already too late, so literally wasted the BKB, 10-second timing as well. And they still haven't gone for the Congo.
I know, I'm sitting here going, kill Kongor. There's no Eruption. There's no Rhapsody Elf. There's no Kelp Field. This is... Go! Go! Please
I even
go.
had a DD earlier.
That's... yeah!
But they still didn't go for it. Now they're gonna do it seems.
Well, Countfield's back. They do have Pharaoh available, and Solster's not here. So this is going to be actually a relatively slow Conqueror. I can make him his way over, trying to do some stuff, but I'm not even going to engage in the pit. So this is going to be a very slow Conqueror with just Pharaoh and Keeper of the Forest, and now they have to back out.
What are they doing? Can I get Solster over here already?
Please, somebody else go in. Like, Kraken, you're sitting up on the ledge. You also don't have a lot of vision of this area. There's one water site that's spawning other people out, but there's no vision of the bot river.
I'm gonna call it. The Legion team is gonna come when they're like 50% HP and spot them out and be like, hey, you guys, we're gonna snatch your token instead. What is Pharaoh going for? Staff the Master first item? Heavily dislike that.
Get a barbed armor. Anyway, bottom lane, they will be able to drop the Blaze Kraken, but Kraken not going to survive it. And Magnus has a Steam Bath, and eventually will be stunned out by the Blaze Kraken, but he will be able to get away, no problem, looks like. Stuns into the trees, portal key, available.
That portal key!
The rocket saw him though, there's the Wrath of Pharaoh, and he's dead. That felt like a relatively short range on the PK, I thought.
That was a really short range, not to talk about the fact that he had the portal key up for several seconds before he actually used it. He could have just ported it a little bit south and then used his port out. He would have been fine, but for some reason he was greedy and waited. Glacius.
Bubble's gonna find the Glacius here, but not the greatest thing. And actually nice invis from Keeper of the Forest. Dust of Revelation goes out, they will still get the Glacius as Conqueror's being killed, but in the background, nice wraps the ultimate. Also gonna prevent some damage from Soul Stealer, and now Solster, Conqueror's being caught out, gonna put Soul Spurs down, but doesn't get it off in time. Drunken Head obviously being used that whole period, but the reason why is catching Rhapsody. She's gonna survive with the dance floor, and they'll chase down this Pharaoh. And put the mark for death on him, and he's dead, so that's a genocide.
Wow, that's the lamest genocide I've seen in a long time. I don't know, it's just so poor, like coordinated by the Hellborn team. I don't know what they're doing. First they're trying to take Congo with Keeper and Pharaoh alone. After that they get picked off, they don't... Soul Stealer gets, I don't know, completely wiped as well. He went in...
Soul Stealer has heavily defensive items, and I don't understand why he's dying in these fights.
He just walked straight into 5 people with his PKB down. I'm not sure where he used his PKB. I must have missed that.
He had it up towards the end of the fight. He died with it on.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know when he popped it, but... I don't get this. He's got the portal key for positioning. He's got the nullstone and the shrunken head for defense, and he feels like he's just in the middle of these fights doing absolutely no damage and getting destroyed.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like they had this game 100%, but I don't know. Somehow they managed to fuck it up. Like now, Rhapsody even got a tablet.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm not too familiar with that though. What does that do?
It basically allows him to activate his ultimate when he's stunned, and it reduces and it eliminates the additional damage he takes from his ult too. Yeah, activate at any time to remove all debuffs and disables, gain debuff and stun duration reduction, as well as grant your attacks bonus physical damage based on blah blah percent of your maximum health. Yeah, so he can activate his ultimate when he's stunned, which then wipes the stun away essentially because it's massive debuff reduction time. So he does. This is why you don't get shrunken heads on Berserker, because Staff the Master essentially acts like a shrunken head. But you also eat the cooldowns from the Hellborn team because they actually do use this stun. It just doesn't do anything, assuming they target the
I always felt it fit me well.
Wait, so the Legion team didn't get Congo earlier either?
No, they did not.
They actually went for the tower in mid.
Yeah.
Because Congo was at like 50% HP when they won that fight. I feel like killing Congo off first would have been a better choice, but didn't really.
Okay with taking towers and stealth.
It's alright, but still, token on Berserker is just...
Yeah, it's good.
You can do so much.
Bubbles did go for Portal Key after his Grimoire. So...
Yeah, he got it.
Well, he's got 388 gold per minute, so he's definitely farming very, very well. And Grimoire helps with that.
It does.
I normally find it difficult to criticize choices after they work, but that was still really stupid.
That was really stupid. That's just coming down to the Hellborn team making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Let's see now. I'm not sure why Legion team is grouped up here.
They're baiting the Berserker with this brand new staff, trying to get the Hellborn to
It doesn't feel like that is, or I mean, that feels pretty obvious though.
Yeah.
And like, I don't feel like they're strong enough to take this fight, but okay. So BKB and jump straight into them right now. Kraken, what? Why is Kraken getting initiated on every time?
I don't know. But he's off the Shrunken Head. They probably lose Kraken as well as the Keeper of the Forest route. Rhapsody also really not doing too much. His Berserker's trying to survive here, but man, that Elder Parasite doing a ton of work along with his ultimate. They managed to kill off 2 right off the bat. There's 3 as the Pharaoh dies as well. And off to the side, they're looking to finish off Stupid Zeus Glacius. Nothing they can do. The Genocide can be finished off as the Mark for that helps Berserker kill the Soul Stealer. And Marcus White picking up the hat trick. Once again, nobody dying on the Legion team, and that's going to be Mid-Rax and very possibly Bot-Rax, as there's buybacks on Keeper of the Forest and Kraken, but neither of them have their ultimates or Shrunken Heads available. Keeper doesn't have
The Hellborn Barracks
and they're done for it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a second Rax, so not much to do.
CC going out. I don't know if he passed right away, but
I don't know, they picked up the portal key on Keeper of the Forest and Soul Stealer, which kind of intends that, or that indicates that they are the ones that want to control the fights, but I haven't seen them being used even once together. Like, I don't think Keeper uses key into ultimate even once this series.
And Bubbles
He's just sitting back.
Away as Mag was going in. So they do take the mid at Bot-Rax. I was going to wonder if they were going to transition top, but there's some impediments to them taking a top tower, or top rack, specifically that there's 2 towers up there in the lane. Anyway, Rhapsody's gonna get caught and killed by the Wrath of the Pharaoh. I'm gonna try to chase down the Ophelia as well. And nope, here comes Bubbles back in to slow them down, stop the PKs, and perhaps die. I don't know, he puts the Kelp Field onto 2, he does have a teleport, and he's just gonna use it, get the hell on out of there, as he assists Archie Tiger's escape. But CC vote going called right again. And I don't know how they're going to come back in this game, so I feel like maybe do concede, but this shouldn't be a game that you lose.
No, it shouldn't. I think they were just as much ahead as they are behind now, like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty confusing. I don't know, I mean, they were playing pretty well as well, to the point that they actually collapsed completely. And I think it all like started with that Kongor.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn FOB.
Y'all chat. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, they did Swift Lame at 600 plus GPM, and they were farming very efficiently. They had the advantage because Bubbles went for a light brand over a portal key, so they could have started taking a whole bunch of good fights. They could have killed Kongor. They didn't seem like they wanted to do anything, and they didn't. And then,
no, they're just waiting for the Hellborn or the Legion team to be the one to initiate every single time. They are the ones that need to make stuff happen.
And they have a Kraken, a Keeper, and a Pharaoh. Anyway, they're going to jump on that Keeper, release the Kraken onto Marcus White's head, but he's going to eat the stun, no problem. Kelfield gets walked off with a Shrunken Head on Keeper of the Forest, Shrunken Head on Soul Stealer as well, not really needed all that much, as Pharaoh's in the middle of this, just going to get destroyed by the Berserker. Rhapsody trying to chase down the Kraken, he gets the portal key off though in time. Glacius in a lot of trouble, last attack from Bubbles will finish off him. Hat trick going through for the Omega on that Grim War Bubbles, because why not? Soul Stealer trying to get back into base, his BKB has worn off, and he will get in the well. He's going to turn this around onto the Rhapsody, but not going to be able to kill her. Gets stunned, and Staccatos are there as well. Are they going to be able to kill Soul Stealer? Yes, they will. In the well. And that's
I don't know. That was very, very weird. I'm not gonna say that Pharaoh. I'm not gonna say that Pharaoh played well, but I think that a lot of this loss comes to the Soul Stealer, because I feel like he was literally terrible. Not to point him out or anything, but I don't know what he was doing in this game.
I agree.
Like, he didn't attend the Kongor when they were trying to kill him, and in the team fights it just felt like he was misplaced all the time.
I love you, Twitch chat. Well, at least Pharaoh has staff. Almost.
Yeah.
He was so close. So
Why do you even need the staff? It's not like you have a gank-oriented
know.
team, so you're gonna run around and get pickoffs. You're gonna use it once, and then you're gonna die. So yeah.
Even if you get the staff, you don't need a 20-second cooldown on fair. It's what, a 60-second cooldown at level 3? That's not long. You don't need it. It's just not a thing. Like, it's in mid wars, it's great because you have a 10-second death timer. So, and it's constantly a team fight. But I'm reasonably certain that that was not mid wars. So, I don't know. That's a frustrating series to watch.
That's really frustrating, yeah.
Because it's like both teams.
It's hard
too.
Yeah, it's especially I mean Coollo collapsed in the early game, but then Hellborn got a blackout in the mid-late game, so I guess it's even.
The game of throws is real. Oh well, that's gonna do it. Well, in the end, Coollo does take the series 2-1. HpF Factory dropping down to the losers bracket round 1 and facing demotion back to Silver Division if they cannot manage to edge out a win. And I don't think either of these teams played well enough to deserve a series victory, to be fair. But one of them had to win, and they did. And that's about all I have to say about that. I don't know. You got anything else?
No, I think you described it pretty well, actually. They need to step up their plays by quite a bit, at least, if they want to be able to like make it through to Diamond or get any of those top spots. Because this is not going to work out.
I don't think that either of these teams are ones that should be thinking about Diamond anytime soon. I think they should be thinking about staying in Gold Division for the immediate future.
Yeah,
that sounds a little bit harsh, but
I think. I mean, or are you allowed to like say results or stuff?
I'll go ahead and spoil loser bracket round 1 because they all got every single loser bracket round 1 match was either a bye match or a forfeit. There were three byes and a forfeit. So yeah, HpF Factory does in fact stay in Gold Division. They got a forfeit win over Izu in loser bracket round 1, and I won't spoil anything further than that. But so both of these teams do stay in Gold. But based on that, I mean, Gold is good. Like there's a fair number of pretty solid teams in Gold Division right now, and it's not as simple as, oh, we got a bunch of good named players on Coollo, we'll be able to stick in Gold no matter what. Like they're gonna have to play a little bit better than this.
I would put it like this: I think there are a lot of good players in Gold, but what I seem to lack is either someone to make the calls or someone to like do the drafting, for example.
Sure.
Because I mean, even if players pick their like how do I say it, heroes that they like, for example, or signature heroes, it doesn't really matter as long as they don't know why they draft a specific hero and like when he actually peaks, for example. So that's something that they really need to learn, and I mean, it just doesn't matter if you copy Sync Esports draft, for example. I mean, but it's better if you just sit down in the game and actually look at how they execute it in that case, at like what times they're trying to group up or at what times they're trying to make specific things happen. That's what I feel like every single Gold team should try to look into a little bit more if they're serious about actually making it through to Diamond.
Yeah. Because I think the draft is very important. I've gotten some mixed opinions about that. Some people are like, well, I mean, yeah, obviously execution is 80 or 90% of the game, or whatever, because people who don't know how to play the game, doesn't matter how good they draft, they're just not going to win. But most of these teams are close enough to each other that the draft advantage can weigh very, very heavily. And
yeah, I agree.
I don't think it happened that much in this series. Just I don't think that there were that many issues or serious outdrafts, but you know, I think this was more of an execution issue in this series, but it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Last thing that's worth mentioning, we did talk about it a little bit before, but yeah, Swift Lane was a ringer for this series, so in case you missed us saying that at some point, but yeah, there were a lot of roster changes. between games in this series, but like, anyway, Hot Fun Factory dropping down, Coollo going up as they take the series 2-1, and that'll do it for this one.